Let's talk about emotions, attachment, love, severance, bereavement. You're making me think about these things, you know? It's you that's making me think about these things. Why do you think that is? Well, she's pretty well explored the whole of the living room. She's everywhere, up and down in that bookcase and all around, and knocking things down and chewing everything. Well, okay, why she does her thing, whilst Gifty does her thing, we'll go and do our thing. But she'll be here. And I can't. I need another pair of glasses. Hang on. I can't grumble and I can't begrudge her a single second of my life, because when Providence was no longer around, I was very saddened, and it can bring a tear to my eye, because that little girl was my world for a couple of years. And when she just stopped coming, well, I suffered a bereavement. I'm still suffering a bereavement now. And you may think it's a curious thing to have bereavement for a squirrel, but these squirrels, these years, here comes trouble. Here comes trouble. They're smarter than cats and dogs, you know. Most certainly smarter than dogs. You know, cats are pretty smart, but these creatures, they know how to build a nest. Could a cat and a dog? Not a chance. And not only that, not only do they bend the leaves and branches around into a ball and fill all the holes up with moss and leaves and twigs and everything. It's called a dray, people. It's a very intricate thing. Not only do they build that they actually get some soft stuff then to line the interior, and then when the evening comes, or whenever they're taking a doze in the daytime, they block up the door so there's no draft. No cat or dog would ever do that. No cat or dog would ever build something which is windproof, weatherproof, and on an ongoing basis do the maintenance. When the rain drips through, they're out the next morning, they're getting more leaves and they're plugging up all the holes. That's intelligence, people. So that's a squirrel for you. And I would think they're leagues ahead of cats and dogs. And so they become you can get very attached to them. Gifty. You got a kiss for daddy? Hey? You got a kiss for daddy? What's she doing? Just sitting there watching. She just got to be with me. She just has to be with me. As soon as she wakes up, she's just out of bed and she's just got to have that human contact. And that love, she's got to have the warmth, she's got to have the fun, she's got to have the playing. What you got? That's daddy's. That's daddy's, you know. Oh my goodness. She's such fun. And yeah, I've always had the greatest of attachment to animals. And I suppose I've had the greatest of fear to human beings. And albeit I was in love on one occasion with the mother of my daughter, we had the deepest of love affair, and it was a beautiful thing, and we had a wonderful daughter out of the relationship. We did. We had a wonderful daughter. And so that was a beautiful thing. But I've only ever loved once. And when it started to fade and slip away, and there's nothing you can do about it, you know, you try, do this and do that, but when the magic's gone, the magic's gone. And it lasted 11 years. And it didn't end bitter. We still have the well, we live in close proximity. She lives a couple of miles away. My daughter lives half a mile away, and my daughter and my mother, they see themselves all the time. I bump into the mother now and again, and she still holds a candle for me, and we had this love affair, which was very special to us. But we've moved on, and she's been married now 25 years to the same bloke. No more kids. And so when the demise of that love affair, when I met her, I was 20 years old, and I'd fell in love big time, and it was an incredible experience, with all the trimmings. But then when you watch it slip away, leaving you vacuous, empty, saddened, disoriented, and all those things, well, it's something to contend with, isn't it? But the demise of a love affair isn't anything like the death of a loved one, when you know you'll never see that person again. And so, with the death of my mother, who took her life when I was 4, well, that took something away from me. And in my therapy sessions, I state that she took part of my soul away, part of that fullness. When she took her life, she took a part of me with her, and that part will never be obtainable again, it appears. It was gone, it was severed, it was taken. The bond of a mother and a child, severed in the formative years. What do? You cry a river. You cry a river. Now, Gifty's chewing lots of wires, but she doesn't get too involved, and she doesn't chew through them, so that's good. But this crucifix, as I said in the other video, she actually ate a couple of millimeters. There's a chunk out of it that she ate, and she was always down here nibbling, great concentration. And so I'm like, what's the big deal? And I watched her like this, and then she's swallowing it, and I tried to take it away from her, and she's got, and she's eating it. She wanted to eat. She would have continued to eat. There's a big lump out of that. Actually, I'll show you again now. See that lump there? Look at that. She ate it. She actually swallowed it. This is an antique speculated to be 1,000 years old. It's a double cross, and there's probably an ancient piece of scripture in there, or something of that nature, because what they used to do, they used to make these double crosses like that and hollow them out inside, and then put something sacred in, like a bit of Jesus's crucifix, or a bit of the gown, or ancient scripture, or something like that. Yes. And so this is from the Byzantine period, 1,000 years, people. So I'm feeling once again very attached to this creature, and she's worrying me. She's worrying me because 2 reasons. She doesn't appear to be the sort of squirrel that's interested in outdoors. I took her out again today. I put her on the floor, put my hand down. She jumped on the grass and then she ran under this bush. The bush is about 6 feet tall and it's got branches inside. It's like an evergreen bush. And she just hangs onto a branch up there, scared. And I put my hand out and she just looks at it. So I picked her off the branch, but there was no resistance. She wanted to come with me, otherwise she would have clung on. And so put her back here again. She goes inside and she just doesn't appear to be interested. Now, there's lots of squirrels because I threw, a couple of handfuls of monkey nuts out on the grass. So they were already out there. She saw them and they were standing up on the back legs looking at Gifty. And I'm like, one of those probably your mother or your father. Gifty's looking at them, but doesn't seem to feel an affinity with them. And I'm wondering, well, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means, little girl, because surely you would remember that you were a squirrel. You would. You'd remember that you were a squirrel. And when you saw other squirrels, you'd start thinking and feeling about them, wouldn't you? But you're just all excited when you're with Daddy. And there's nothing better than being in Daddy's shirt and having Daddy's cuddles, is there? There's nothing better than that. And, look, if this was going to go the way it went with Providence and she'd be out there, kind of dependent on me, most certainly for the first year, first 6 months while she's, learning the ropes and things like that. You see, this time of year, it's going into the winter time and there's not much food around. So I was up at dawn, every single day, and dawn in the winter time, it's kind of like this time it gets light about 7, and so shortly it'd be getting light at 8. So no big deal. And I'd be out there. And I'd call Providence, and a little face would come out of her house, and then she'd come straight down, and I'd be feeding her, and she'd be feeding feverishly. And for several months, I'm like, "You're so hungry, girl. You're obviously not eating anything out in the big world. You got to start eating other stuff." But it wasn't until the springtime that she started eating other stuff. So she went all through the autumn and through the winter. Highly dependent, and this little thing, it seems to me that she's going to be super dependent, and so we've got this attachment now, and attachment is a problem, isn't it? Attachment is an issue, because whenever the attachment is severed, then there's something that's lost. There's something that's torn out of us. And, all the noises around the house, I've always got to look. What are you doing now? Here she is. She's back again. You went down there to cause trouble down there, didn't you? And now you're back to cause trouble here. There's no end to it, is there? Well, she's bolts. She just bolts really fast, really fast. I'm going to get her. She goes really fast. And I don't know whether that's the plaything or genuinely she's afraid. But poof, poof, you know, like it's a big bird, like a big bird of prey coming to get you. Get you, get you. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do? So that's the reflexes. Well, it's Sunday today, and so the wine box, which I'm going to make into a nesting box, is going to be arriving tomorrow. And I don't have any confidence at all that she's going to be wanting to go in it. Really, she likes her hoodies in several places around here. And if I try to make somewhere for her, it's not to her liking, then she ain't going in it. And I don't know what I'm going to do with her. So now she's just jumped on there and she's crawling up the camera. But when we get this attachment, and you people who have owned animals, well, you know what it's like when you lose them. And I've lost close friends that haven't had the effect on me which losing Providence had. My best friend, he died through alcoholism, and I'm kind of like, well, I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him because there's a lot more mileage for our relationship. And, he was one of these that could philosophize and, would share lots of different interests. And he was a really good friend, for 20 years. But there was no pain inside. With his death, he drank himself to death, and I kissed him on his forehead when he could no longer speak or open his eyes in the hospital. And it was completely yellow. His eyes were yellow because his kidney was knackered, and his mother and his father were sitting there just being present. And I said to him, come back, Cuddy, come back. And he went, That's all he could do. He knew he wasn't going to come back. He knew he was knackered. He'd been in and out of rehab and hospital. This time, it was all over. His body swollen up, and his eyes bright yellow, and he lost all his teeth, and all that sort of stuff. Come here. Come on. Okay, you stay over there then. So, when we get attached to things. Now, why is it so painful when we lose something that's so close to us? That's what I want to know. I want to know that. That's what I want to know. I want to know why. There's a place for you in my heart now. You. What's all that about? People would say you're only a squirrel, but you're special to me. And so, I have a certain fear for dependency. Because now I've got this little thing, and if it doesn't want to go outside, and it won't go outside, and what can I do? Just put it outside and leave it? Leave her? No, I've got a duty of care, and we'll have to work something out. We really will. So that's the problem. When I've got to be her surrogate mother for the next year at least, until she gets bigger, because she's just a little baby. And then, of course, already I'm anticipating losing her again. With each day that goes by, the bond gets stronger and stronger, and the attachment becomes more and more profound. And we form into a pattern. and every day she's going to be in my life, just like Providence was. I'd go out 2 or 3 times in the garden, most certainly morning and evening time, and I'd spend time with her. 99% of the time she'd always be there, and whenever she wasn't there in the evening time, I'd wait until dark fell, wondering where she was, and I'd go walking around the churchyard calling her name and things like that, and I'm thinking, oh, has a hawk got her, has a fox got her, what's happened, and all this different sort of stuff. And on one particular occasion, she didn't come back, and I came into the house, and I just couldn't live with that. And so I had to go and get one of the big green wheelie bins and wheel it to below her nesting box and stand on top of it and call her. And I actually got a little torch like this, and I was trying to poke in the little aperture like that, and she was so buried down. Eventually, she came up as if to say, "What, Dad?" I went, she scared the shit out of me. That's what. I was calling you for 1 whole hour and you never came out because you were too warm and comfortable. Do you know what stress that caused me? Anyway, kissed her on her little nose and she went back in. And I'm like, wow, I really am a dad all over again. And now it's happened again. I'm thinking to myself, well, look, whatever happens to this little one, she's going to leave somehow. And when she does, that's going to be a problem for Daddy. It is. And so I look at the whole attachment thing. I look at the severance thing. I look at the bereavement thing. Because evidently I'm still bereaving my mother. And then I did fall in love and it was incredible. But then I bereaved that relationship for years. And when I was out in the vicinity of other girls, they felt an aura about me, that I was married. And they always used to say, "Where's your wedding ring?" I'm like, "I'm married." And it's like, yeah, right. They just felt, still I was attached. Oh my goodness, now she's in the other plant. What's she got? What's she got? Yay, gifty. It's a bit like a tree, isn't it? Well, and outside here, I just saw another one, but it's gone now. So yeah, I mean, some people, they can have lots of different love affairs and they get married loads of times, and I'm like, if you love well, for me, to love is a powerful thing, and then if it should be taken away from you through death or some sort of severance, which was very quick, well, that's a devastating thing, isn't it? Because there's a part of you that's also been taken away, and you want that part back, and you're trying to fill that part, and you can't sleep, and you can't think, and you can't function. And in the past, with relationships, I've gone for years thinking about someone every single day and feeling empty. And, you know, after some time, I decided that I couldn't do that anymore. And so that's why then I started to frequent pay and go for my um, fornicating pleasures. Just pay and go. And in some places like Thailand and Africa, you can have a relationship with lots of these girls, and you can spend 1 week, 2 weeks, you know, several months, whatever, as long as you keep paying. And so I led that life because there was no severance payment. There was an agreement, a contract, and you knew there's no love involved. Albeit, you know, you know, I often really liked lots of the girls. And, you know, had a lot of fun and we got pretty close, but there was never that, you know, real attachment. And, you know, there wasn't the jealousy when they'd be with other partners, you know, the guys and the cellular. Oh, so basically, this little thing is making me think. And now lots of the other squirrels are back in the garden and Providence isn't around. That saddens me because I'm like, well, she should be here. You know, why isn't Providence here? And, you know, what would Providence be doing now, you know, with Gifty? Would she like her? Would she feel threatened by her? You know, would Gifty be afraid of her? I suppose so. I suppose so. And so, you know, there's a certain facet of me that thinks, well, it wouldn't work. You know, Providence was fiercely territorial. Now, you know, a new beautiful little thing coming on the scene, well, that wouldn't be tolerated. And how would that work? Then I'd be torn between the two, wouldn't I? She's looking out the window. I'm just going to have a look to see if she's looking at us. Can you scroll down? Yes. There's one down on the grass and she's looking at her. It's on the bench straight in front of her. There. So she's transfixed on that. So she's got awareness now, and I don't know how she's feeling about them. I don't know whether she's wondering if one of them's mum or whether she's just feeling threatened by them. But she's looking out the window like a cat or a dog, isn't she? Look, the squirrel, I don't know whether you can see, to the right, there she is. Now she knows I'm watching. So I'll leave her. And so you think squirrels are not smart? When they look out the window and they know what's going on. And if you make a bed for them and a nest, and they don't think that's to their liking, they'll get out of it. They'll travel halfway, well, all the way over the room, and they'll go to another place. So Gifty used to want to sit in that with the other hoodie. But now I've moved that hoodie over there and I took the other hoodie away. She don't like that hoodie over there. She stopped liking that hoodie when it was on here when I put the leaves around. All of a sudden, that contaminated that hoodie as far as she's concerned. She doesn't like that hoodie now because it's got something to do with those spiky leaves. And so now I've made her another one in a little well. Oh my goodness. Just caught this. Oh wow. Gifty. Yeah, look at you. Look at you. Now the thing is, look, it's not about that she's going to be knocking things over. It's that things might fall upon her. Now, she grabbed hold of this, and this is very light, and she grabbed hold of it when it was about like that, and it followed her to the end, and then it fell on the floor. Well, if that lands on top of her, I don't know what damage that would do. So I've put it right there, and then she's in that plant. But yeah, I mean, here she is. Here she comes. Here comes trouble. Here comes trouble. So she can't be a house pet because I won't be able to have anything in the house. There'd just be me in an empty room and her, because everything else would just be sawdust. And so that's not correct, is it? Hey, that's not correct. If you want to turn things into sawdust, then you better go outside and do it. Hey? What do you say about that? So, there's going to be a problem, isn't there? Ow. We're going to have to... We're going to have to address that, aren't we? We are. You know, when you've lived alone for a long time, because you don't want to get attached, you don't want to deal with that anymore. It just messes with your head. It throws your equilibrium. It obliterates the stillness and the bliss that we can find when we engage in things that we love. And that's why I've been in avoidance of it for so long. But then when these little things come along, it's kind of like, I can't leave them. I can't leave them. And I was thinking to myself, over the past couple of days, if I saw one again, would I? And I don't know, people, I don't know. Because now I've bound myself again for however many years. And schools don't live forever. Maybe she won't want to stay around forever. And then I'm going to have to deal with that. And it just throws you. She's there a good portion of the day. That's one of her favourite places, and I don't know why, but it's very close to the armpit, as usual, for the heat. And she's got a nuzzle in the armpit. She's got a nuzzle in the armpit. Now I lift my arm up, and then she's gone in. Now she's under there, right in the armpit. Oh. Well, And then she's coming out again now. What am I going to do with you? Hey? I don't know. But anyway, we're going to try to rehabilitate her back out in the big world. And I'm hoping that there will be her brothers and sisters around here any day soon. I haven't seen them, but they should be here by now. I should be seeing them. Unless they're still, pretty timid like this one and just only around the dray. But no, this is the size. They're out and about. They should be out and about with Mum now. And I haven't seen any, so I don't know what's going on. So now she'll have a good clean in there and a good fidget, and then she'll try to bed down, but I've got things to do. So I'll have to put her in a nest. Anyway, people, just a bit of a chat about things.